Hi, this is Lisa Allen, and in part one of this two-part series, I want to introduce you to some quick strategies that you can use to improve your SERP click-through rates to your websites. Now, the search engine ranking page listings often are pretty uniform and boring looking, as you can see here. So in order to get better click-through rates once you've ranked, you need to find ways to stand out. So I'm going to cover two things in this video that you should always pay attention to get more clicks. Number one is the title of your page. Google usually uses the title of your page from your title tags, and so you should pay attention to how it's listed. And there are a couple of things that you want to look at when you are writing your title. You should make sure that the title of your web page has your target keyword in it. For instance, if you were trying to rank for children's books, you would want to make sure that children's books was in the title, and the closer it is to the front of the title line itself, the better it is. This not only helps with ranking for that keyword in the first place, but the keywords will be bolded on the search results, which will draw attention to your listing. Also, you'll want to check out how your title will appear in the search engine results pages on Google. And you can see here that we have one that's truncated and another one that's truncated. And so there might have been something important or enticing that was cut off by Google that if we had thought about how long the line would be, we actually could have moved that around a little bit and made that listing a little bit more enticing. So this can be fairly important. And while Google used to use 70 characters as the display limit of titles so you could just count characters, recently they have started using 512 pixels as the limit, which means that the number of characters displayed can be larger or smaller depending on which characters are in the title and how wide those characters are. So to check that out on your page title, Kenny Goodman has a great little free tool that you can use to preview your listings at the URL that you see on the screen. And basically how you use this is that you just come in here and you put in your title, and you can also put in your description, and it will show you an example of what your search engine listing would look like. And of course, if you add common keywords that you're targeting, it will show you what they will look like bolded. So you can see that if I fill in my title and a description and a URL, and then of course some of the keywords that I'm shooting for, it will show you exactly what this will look like in the search engine results. And you can see this where I've got a couple of words capitalized does stand out, and also I added meta description as one of the common keywords just as an example, and you can see that it bolds it here. So it gives you a really useful way to see exactly what your listing will look like, and you can kind of fine tune it and see if you can get it a little bit more noticeable than those that are on the same page with you. And of course, after you make changes, it might take Google a little while to come by and update your listings, but if you start with the end in mind and actually do this before you finish writing your post, then of course most likely this will be the way it will appear. Another thing to consider with the title is to make sure that your title is interesting. It should read like a news bulletin or a magazine article title, and those kinds of titles really draw people in. And as I showed you in the last example, selective capitalization of some words in the title also sometimes works. And I don't see anybody in this particular listing use this technique, and the listings are all fairly mundane looking, and they all just kind of blend together because they're so much the same. So by looking at what's actually ranking before you write your title, you can find some ways to stand out. Now, the second thing that you want to concentrate when you are writing your blog post or your article is to optimize your display snippet for clicks. And the display snippet is usually taken from your meta description on your website. And if you don't provide a meta description, Google will make one up from the content of the page itself. Now, one of the reasons why it's important to optimize the display snippet is that according to Google, 55% of the website descriptions shown in the search engine rankings actually convince users not to click. And so you definitely don't want to be convincing people not to click on your link once you've actually managed to get into the rankings. So a couple of tips for this is to use action words at the front of your snippets such as read, discover, or learn. You also want to employ a call to action and a tease at the end of your snippet to play on curiosity, such as learn more or learn how you can. So you definitely want to try and pull the person in so that they want to find out more, because all the information isn't right there, but there's enough to arouse their interest. Also, try to include your target keyword in your snippet to take advantage of the bolding of the search term, as I showed you in the earlier example on Kenny Goodman's preview tool. Now you have 156 to 160 characters that Google will display. Use them all to make your listing larger. You can see that some of these listings are kind of small and some of them take up more space, like that one's really small. And your eye is a little bit more drawn to the ones that are a little bit bigger and take up more space on the screen. So that's it for this video, and in part 2 tomorrow we'll discuss how to link your posts and pictures together in the SERPs through authorship. When done correctly using author strategies, you can even get your picture in the search engine results, which will help you to build trust with your readers and convince them to click on your listing first. So don't miss tomorrow's video, and I'll see you again soon.